So for access modifiers, let me create a new project. Let me make it as a starter project. Right. So here, if you don't mention any access modifier for class, right? So by default it is internal, right? Which will have access to the class internal to the assembly, or throughout this project you will have access to your class. Okay? So normally if you don't give anything, it will be like something called this. It will be internal to your Okay. So we have understood yesterday that our class can be either internal or can be public, right? And it can't be private. You can see it won't even allow us to select private over here, because the scope of class cannot be private, or also it cannot be protected. Right? It can only be either internal or public. And if you don't mention any, by default it is a class will be internal and which will be accessible across our current assembly. Now, so that is about class, right? And normally we create class to actually make it accessible enough, right? So today we'll see other stuff. So in a same namespace, so we have already seen how to create different classes, right? So here you don't normally we create class as right clicking on solution and create a class now, right? Now let us see one more stuff, that in a same namespace, if we have in one class, so my current file name is program.cs, right, in which I have a namespace called access mods. It's the same as my project. Now in this I have one class, right? Now if you create any other class in the same tree level, it will again create in the same namespace with different class name as such, right? So that we can do in the same file itself. I can create one more class here, right? Let me just call it as my class. I can do that. It is same as creating a new file and creating a separate class, because I'm maintaining same namespace. The logical separation I'm actually maintaining here, where I'm actually making sure that things are right exclusively different. I can't declare again a same class with same name as before, right? Again, if you define any class, it's again a internal. And if you want to make it public, you can actually make it public, which will be accessible even across your assemblies. Right. So this is my public class. Now let's see more things on how we're going to work. So as we said, we have basically 5 access modifiers which we are going to see for variables, mainly variables, or rather let's not call it variable, let's call it members. It can be variables or methods or functions, right? So we do have on top 5 different access modifiers. We'll first see the private, and then we'll see what is protected, right? And then we'll see internal. Internal is there for our variables or members, and we have protected internal, and then we'll see the public. Public is the one which gives access to a member across servers, right? So these are 2 classes which I have, right? So let me call it as class A, and let me take one more class which is class B, right? And think that these 2 classes are related. Now, what is related and all these terms, right? And how can we make A and B related? Now we'll actually understand this completely in our OOPS class, which is our next topic. Now here, in order to make relation, which means I'm going to inherit my A into B, which means these are related, which means my class B will become a child of class A. Don't worry about this, we'll understand more. But now, as we are talking about across the access modifiers, right, we need a relation between two different classes to actually understand few of access modifiers. Right? So now, in this class, first create a variable. By default, if I don't create or don't provide any access modifier to any variable in class A, right, then it's a private, which is same as declaring it as a private. Check that out. Let's say I'm not going to provide anything. Let me create an object of A obj, because A is my class, right? I can create an object of A. Right? Let me try to call I. You can see here I'm not getting the variable I. Why? Because my variable I became private because I didn't mention any default access modifier. If you want to make it private, either you can leave as this or you can also call it as a private. Both are same. And by default it is private, or if you want to mention it exclusively, you can mention that. Now this variable will not be accessible from anywhere. That's it. The scope of variable of I is only till A. In A, let's say I have a simple method. Let's say it has a method like void print data, something. Right? Now here I can use this variable. Let's say int some A is equal to I. You can see I can use this I plus 2. Right? I'm able to use this I variable here. Now, how about this? Now my class A is a parent and B is a child, which means these two are related, right? Whatever I have in A, I can access everything in class B. That's what it says normally when B is a child of A. But here, look into this. So we have void, let's say get data. So here, whatever variable we declare in class A, we can directly access in class B. Why? Because there is a relation between B to A. But if a variable is declared private, you won't be able to access it. See here, if I'll create one more variable in C is equal to I. See, I'm not getting that I. Now, let me first show you whether it is possible to access it or not. Let me create a public variable first. Public in, let's say, P is equal to 90 or 0, right? See here, I can access P. See, int A dot P, which means I'm able to access my variable whichsoever have got access, which I can access from B, I can access them. Right? So in this situation where I'm actually talking about variable I, which is a private, now this variable can be used only within my class A. That's it. The scope of I will never be outside this class A world. That is a private variable. The next one is protected. What is protected? Now protected, let's say it's log L is equal to 90. Now your protected variables can be accessed in your containing class, which means I can use this in my current class. I can use this here. A, you can see L I'm able to access. Anyways, this is a type custom issue. Let me just make it as interesting. Right? You can see I and L both I can access in the same class. Now, can I access this across the classes? Which means across the class in the sense it is not two different classes. It's a different class but which is a child of A. Can I do that? Yes, I can do that. You can see L. Let's say question. Now you can see that I'm able to access my variable which is in class A named L in my child class. Now, can I use it outside B? Which means if I create an object of B, or let's say I've created object of A, right? Can I access L here? You can see protected cannot be used. It will not give an access to any other objects or any other outside world. I can access protected only in that class or at least the class should be child of it. That's it. And I will now never be able to access my variable L outside world. That is not allowed. Fine. That is a protector. That is a protector. Now let's see the next one, which is internal. Internal in, let's say, let me call it as some k is equal to some k. Now this is my internal. Now obviously yes, whenever you define internal, at least you can use it in the same class, right? I can use that variable in the same class, and let's see whether I'll be able to use this in my B. Let me call plus internal k. You can see I can use internal across a class which is my child of A. I can use it. Now let's see whether I'm able to use it outside world. Dot k. See here, I'm able to access k, which means my access levels are increasing now. Right? When I go to private, no access anywhere. When I go to protected, at least we can go to my class B. When I go to internal, I am increasing my scope to same class, and my child class is also to the variable or object which I created. Right? Which you can see, I can access my obj dot k. Same way, let's create one more object which is of B. Let me call it as obj B is equal to new B. Let me first comment this out. B. Okay. So this is my second variable I've created, which is obj B. Now let's see whether I'm able to access what are all I can access. You can see I can access only k. You'll wonder, how can I access variable of class A through B? That is nothing but unit address. Don't worry, we'll learn more on this in our hoops concepts, but this is something where you can see I can access my internal variable k in my current class and in my derived classes, also in my current assembly or library. So scope of internal is only till my current assembly. Fine. Now let's see what is protected internal. I can have protected and internal. Let's say in something like R is equal to something. So this is something which again you can actually use it in this way. You can use it in derived class also, right? And in containing program. First thing, anyways, I can use it in containing class, right? I can use this R here, which is for sure. And in my derived classes, let's see whether I can use this or not. You can see yes, I can use it. Let's see whether I'm able to access it from outside world, right? R, you can see I'm able to use it here using B, and using A, obviously I can use dot R, right? This is a bit same as your internal, right? Where you're actually making a protected variable to access across the libraries, sorry, in the same library. So that is a protected internal. And let's go to the last one, which is a public. Now public is something which can be used across anything. You got as U is equal to 800. You can actually access your public in your containing class, in your derived classes, right? In your across variables if you want obj.u, right? Even your obj.b dot. You see obj.u, right? You can access, and also across the libraries. Now, across the libraries is nothing but when I use this class, right, in other classes. Let me create other solution here, and let me show you how I can actually access this across libraries. What does it mean across libraries? Now, whenever I create a class library, right? Class library is nothing but we are actually trying to create a predefined, you remember UCL, user defined class libraries. Right? We have BCL, which is base class libraries. We can also have UCL, which is user defined class libraries. That is nothing but whenever you create a project and try to write something, which means you are actually creating a library. Let me create a new project here. So let me call it as again access modifier crosslink. Right? Now this is my class library. Now, how can I connect these two? Is my question. Now I want to use my access mods class library here. Now how I can do? I can do in this way. Right click on this project, click on add reference. Now in this add reference you have something called solution. You have many, you have assemblies which are internal to whenever you install .NET or any other operating system library, so you can actually use them in here. Same way you have COM components and you have solution. Now in solution you can see whatever we created, number of projects, you can see strings, data types, so and so, we have everything. Which means I can use each and every class library as a process assembly for my project. Now I want my access modifier, right? I want my access mods to use in here. Let me click on OK. Now you can see in my reference, if you remember, in a project your reference is nothing but you are using all your libraries, right, which are BCLs. Till now we have seen only BCLs, base class library usage, right? Now what I am doing, I am using my UCL, which is my user defined class library in here, which means I can access this. Now question is, how can I access a class which is in access modifiers in one of the class which is in my access mod class? Now in this way you can use. First thing, you have to import your you can see you have got access mods, which means as soon as you use your library, right, all the namespaces. Now what is the namespace here? Access mod. All the namespace will be will be accessible here. Now you can see when I use this namespace, right? Now let me go here and show you A. You can see there is a class A mods here. Now rather taking it as A and B, let me change the class name so that it will be more easy. Let me call it as A class. And now here there is one more feature in .NET Visual Studio, guys. Whenever you change any variable name or a class name, right, it will give you one very good option there. See here, you can select this and say rename, just rename class, right? Wherever I'm using A, rename with to A to A class. You can see I'm using A here, right? But I'm trying to rename. When you select this option, you can see wherever I'm using A, it will become A class. Same way, if I use a B class here, select B class, now you can see it will become B class. Now this is how it works. Now let's go to the program here. Now here you can see A class, right? A class is nothing but I'm trying to create my object of class A class, which is under access mods. This is how I can use one library in another project. Now here let's go and see what are accessible. See here, only U is accessible. Can you see? This is nothing but your cross library access or cross assembly access. Across your libraries, right, you will be able to access only public variable. This is the only access modifier which gives you access to across assemblies, and all these are only internal to either your class or either your assembly. That's it. All other things will never be exposed to outside world except your. Now this is called as your assembly scope, right, or your class scope, or your namespace scope, right, or your assembly or across library scope. That is nothing but the scope of your variable, right? Now in methods, let's get into a bit. That is about all access modifiers which we have normally. Now let's see immediately what is the scope of a variable which we define internal to method. Right? Now, whatever we have learned, private, protected, internal, everything, right? Everything applies to even your methods. Let's say mine is a private method. right? Now when you actually make any method private, now if I want to access that, now first let's start with public, right? Now my print data is a public method, right? See whether I am able to access this my derived class. Anyways, I can access this my same class. Same class you can access anything, right? So till now you would have understood, define any type of variable you can actually access in the same class except static and all, right? I think you have a clear idea on static now. What is static and other stuff, right? If you define any static, then you can actually use them only in static methods and non-static. And if you define any non-static, then you can actually use them only in non-static methods, but not in static methods. Fine. See here, if I define print data, see, I'm able to call the print data from derived class, which is my public. Also, we'll go across later. This is my public method, print data. Let me create one method which is private. Private void, let's see, pri method, private method. Now this private method will be accessible only within class and not even here. You can see when I click on here, now it won't give me that method. Now same way, let's create methods in this. Same way, let me create protected method. Protected void, let me count as method. Right? Now my protected method again will give me scope across my classes which are changed, which are, see here, protected method I can access. But when you go beyond class, when you say this, see, you will be able to access only public, not protected. Now let's go ahead and see internal void, let's say intern method. Right? Now internal method again, scope is same. You can use that in your same class, where you can see here I can use internal method, right, and all. Same way you can use it in your derived classes, so internal method. Also you can use this in your current library also. You can see internal methods. Right? Now what about protected internal? Again it's same. Now it's your public. Now this is your assembly level. Now let's go to the cross assembly. Go to this program where I have A. Let me call A obj dot. Now you can see there is only print data, nothing else. You can actually call only print method, nothing else. These are the access modifiers which we have in .NET, and the scope of them related to your class, related to your current library, related to your cross libraries. Now what is the scope of a variable which I have defined in here? Now if there is any block of code you write in a function or a loop or a if condition, anything, and if you declare any variable, then the scope of that variable will be only till that block. Now if there are any variables, now you can see all these variables are nothing but your global to your class, right? I am not defining this inside any method, right? That's the reason why I have some access specification for this. But if you define any variable internal to method, and that's it, this variable is used only till here. Now you can see I don't have anything like public. You can see here I don't have anything like public for this or private, right, or protected. No, internal to method, it's always private. Private to this method. That's it. No other option. Right? So that is your variable which you define inside your method, and the scope of that variable will be always internal to that method only. Now even internal to method, let's say you are defining a simple if condition. If A is greater than 0 or something you are defining, right? Now let's say you define some OP is equal to 0. Now what happens, this internal variable OP will be accessible only in between if, that's it. If I try to define OP here, see, I'm not getting. Why? because the scope of this variable is private only till this block start and end. That's it. Same way, if you have your for loops, right? If you have a for loop like till then, and if you define any variable called long L is equal to 90, right? And try to access from outside C, you won't be able to access. Now, anyway, this L is nothing but your L here, protected. Let me call it as L N G, some variable, right? C, I won't be able to access, right? So this is nothing but your scope of a variable towards a method scope, or a if condition scope, or a for loop scope. I mean, it can be. So this is what is this is something which is called as a scope of a variable internal to method, internal to your block of code, anything. Internal to method, if you define, you can have any number of blocks. You can have if block, if you can have for loop condition, you can have while loop, you can have switch, you can have right, you can have internal try catch, you can have internal finally, you can have catch, right? So many stuffs. So those will be internal. So they are by default private to that block of. So this is about access modifiers which we have, right? And the complete set of class which we can use across and so this is about mainly we have about the access modifiers. So since Navya wants the protected and protected internal. Now, see this protected and protected internal, right? It was a good question. Now, when I say protected internal, the scope of protected internal again will be same as internal, right? There is no much difference we have, but there is a scope being defined in .NET that you can actually have your protected internal. I mean, you can define an internal method also as a protected. Now, main difference is that you can use this. You can use a protected variable in a library. If you want to use a protected variable in library, normally the protected variable you can't use in library. Right? I can't call L from here. No, I can't do that. Right? But in that case, if you want to make at least accessible in your library, then you can actually make that variable as protected internal. Right? That's a narrow difference we have in here. But yes, instead of normally protected internal we may not use mostly, as you have internal and directly protected, right? So yeah, so that's how. So that is it. And when we normally talk about protected internal, right? So it is basically like it is not protected and internal. It is basically protected or internal. Where it
actually.
Yeah. Yes, please.
You said that internal can be accessed within the library, and protected internal also can be accessed within the library, right?
Yeah.
Then what is the use of using protected internal?
Correct. I mean, when you say protected internal, right, you can actually inherit that class, inherit that variable even across libraries. See, when I say I'm going to create a class which is out of my program, you can see here, right? Now this is my library. Now I'm going to create a separate class here, which is a separate. Let me call it as some D class. Now you can see I can access my class called A class here, right? I can do that because this is across library inheritance only. Correct? So here I'm going to write void.
Okay.
So here let me make it as some data method. Now here let me see make it as some L. So here what is the variable I created under it's R, right? You can see protected R, like I can write this out as protected line R. You can see I can access my R, which means irrespective of whether it is in the same library or not, you can inherit your class anywhere across the libraries. It will actually make your scope of variable to use that it is across the class inheritance, right? Because you can see I'm actually inheriting my class which is not in my scope. Right? Okay, fine. So that is about the access modifiers which we have. Now the next topic which we have is oops. We'll be starting oops as a next topic. So we'll actually see everything. So till now, I hope you guys are clear with access modifiers, class, right? And what are different variables, how to create an object, how to create a method, how to call it, how to create a constructor, mainly how to overload a constructor, how to overload a method, and all, right? Now these are topics why we have actually taken up before oops, but normally people normally teach oops and then go to this. Now why I have actually made you learn first this and then oops, right? Now you will understand as you have a clear idea on class, what is the method, what is the scope, what is how which variables we can access in different in different classes across the class and all, right? Now you will actually understand oops in much better way. Fine, so that's the reason why we have actually taken most of the fundamentals even before oops. Fine. Now, so before actually starting up, the oops concept, right? It's actually complete the assignment checking now, because I can see that most of you guys have actually completed assignments. So you guys can share if you want. Okay, so maybe you can just walk through your assignment, how you've done it. Okay. So have you used the same class or, okay, these are calculator class and this is your main class, right? I think Raju, you are in mute, so you can unmute yourself and you can actually maybe explain. Okay, so we have used a separate class for add, okay, and you have made it static, perfect, okay. Okay, I think okay, so I think you have used one different thing here, Raju, that you have created different classes in a same namespace and the same file. This is one new thing which I can see, which we have learned today, right? Good that you have used same classes in the same namespace in the same file. That is good. And can you just run this? We'll see once. Okay, you have already created multiple things. That's cool, man. Accepting multiple numbers you have done, it seems, right, Rajiv?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, you're doing multiplication. Okay, enter size. Size is 4. Okay, you're defining size. Perfect. Okay, 620, 120. Okay, cool. Cool. Can you go to addition? I mean, can you do all operations?
Yeah.
Okay, you have made it loop. Man, this is a very good program, and can you just make it as a loop again, right? So that until unless we say exit, right? Don't exit your program, right? As Kranti and they have done it, right? A loop on, and you can actually come out. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Okay. Can you do the subtraction once again? No, do one thing. Before doing this, can you just apply loop right away? Right away in front.
When you press exit to exit the program?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, any key you can actually, can you just close this and right away, you don't have to clearly write exit and all. Just say, let me see how you can actually apply this to undo this. Can you go to the top? So can you apply it here? Any thing? Okay, fine. So if you want my help, I'll do one thing. Give me access. You have something called give keyboard and mouse access, right? I'll show you. Not a problem. So in your screen, you have keyboard options. Let me show you. I think you have written this in a right fashion, but Yeah, perfect. So here, what I'll do here is like yes, you can use infinite loops in there, correct. So what I'm gonna do here is I'll just say semis, right? So here the best way will be I'll do one thing. This is I'm actually rendering this very slow. Come on. Okay, so here what I'll do, I'll just take this out. Now why I'm showing in Rajiv's machine is we have actually completed the multiple one. Default case is not needed. Yeah, I mean yes, if it is a default, you can actually exit the program normally, right? So let me just say it as Galaxy. I'm just creating a separate method for you. So here. You can loop on here, or else you don't need this anyways, don't worry about this again. So come on man, why my keyboard is not working on this? So what you can do here itself, you can write a program. So loop everything on, right? So yes, as you were saying, you don't need this. So what you can do here is just break this loop if I is 0, that's it. You don't that's it. So can you run it now? Yeah. Okay, now continue with subtraction. Okay, no issues. Okay. Okay. P size 1. Okay. Okay, good. So, okay, you took 3 first and -2 and then -1, right? That's what you have done. Okay, perfect. Okay, multiplication is okay. Can you go to division? Okay, you gave 3. Okay, continue. What happened? Oh, you gave anything else?
Oh, I gave a space so it.
Okay, I understood. Yeah, yes. That's fine. We'll see how to handle that exceptions. Sundar was saying, am I correct in assuming that? Yes, exactly. /n will be used for new line in default. Yeah, correct. You don't have to use /n. Right line will take. Sorry, 3 is multiplication. Sorry, you have taken 4. Okay, how few actually entered? 6 divided by 3 and divided by 2 is that?
Yes.
Can you just enter again and let me give you numbers. Can you select 4?
Oh.
Okay, select 4 and size also 4. Give 1. Alright, then enter 20. Yeah, again give some 5. Yeah, then give 6. Enter. Okay, good. Okay, you're showing you have taken the data type as. Can you go to this division? Oh, okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to see. Very good, man. You have used the right data type. That's what I wanted to see. Can you go to the division method once? Now can you show division? Yeah, that's cool, man. You have used loop. You have considered the size. Very good. Very good. I mean, it looks very impressive. Can you go? Where is the method? Okay, you have selected div. Okay, perfect. Can you go down? Can you go to the sum? Okay, I mean to the top maybe. So subtraction, and okay, you have taken it as int. Okay, very good. Okay, go down please. Okay, addition anyways, it's a straightforward, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, addition is perfect. Okay, cool. So even for multiplication you have used it, right?
Right.
Okay, perfect. Now this looks very good, man. This is very good, Rajiv. Good job, man. You have understood most of the concepts. I can see, you have actually, considered, different concepts. You have used array, you have used loops, you have used, case statements, right? You have used loops. It's very good. Cool. It's cool, right? So you have used infinite loop, perfect, and you have used one for so and so. Okay, right, okay. 1, 2, 3 for multiplication. You haven't used division. Yes. You have choice for division, or you haven't done that, or? Okay, not a problem. Now,
multiplication.
Okay, now you can try. I mean, you got how to do the division part now, right? So maybe you can try.
Yeah.
It now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, can you run this once? Yeah. Actually, the division part, which was there, right? So my intention why I gave you, multiple things, I mean, to accept more numbers was, I just wanted to see what exactly the data type you guys going to choose when you're doing some operation. That was my main intention, and
Okay.
different topics you are going to use. Not a problem. Now maybe you can try now, right? Okay, can you run this now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Kranti, we'll just get back in a moment, right? Once Navya is done. Okay, enter number of values you have run. Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now guys, I haven't seen anyone using unsigned or signed, we have one more data types, right? Right, Navya? Like we have unsigned int and all, right?
Yeah.
Try that once, okay?
Yeah.
And just show me, I mean, you will be doing division part, right? Okay, anyways, use,
Yeah.
you can actually go ahead and use decimal, right? Or we'll just use some other data type and see. But I want you guys to even use, even use few things like unsigned int or short, byte, try different things. Okay. So can you just go to one of, multiplication ones, just show me what is the concept you've used. You've used for loop. Okay, fine. Okay, for loop you're taking, okay. Oh, this is perfect. While accepting itself, you are actually building your program, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. This is good one. Okay, so is it common logic for all? Add also you're taking everything and doing things, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, Navya. That was good actually. Cool, you're doing this. Okay, fine. So maybe this is very good. I mean, not accepting and directly converting into it, but there can be a problem. We have just seen in our Rajiv's machine, right? That he actually entered some other character other than number and we gave. That is a fat level. Anyways, we'll see that once we cover our exception handling. Once we're done with oops, we'll see exception handling. So as soon as we are covering towards end, right? So we should be perfect with C#, right? Even including oops. So the next concept, what I want you guys to do is, don't worry about these things now. Next thing we are going to do only on oops and exception handling. Fine. Okay, this is good enough. Yeah. So you have your enter value of n, enter number.
6 is the size.
Sorry?
Six is the size of the
But yeah, that's fine. Okay, so addition, yeah, do one of the operation, either subtraction or addition, anything. Yeah, subtraction here. Enter how many values?
4 is the size.
Okay, correct. 23. Okay. Okay. So can you continue? Can you go to 4 division ones?
Sure.
Okay. So okay, you haven't used loop. Okay. Man, you guys are doing good job. Use loop. Okay, so that we can continue using this. Okay. So 4. Okay. Good. Okay, you have used decimal or float.
Decimal.
Okay, I can see that because there are so many, decimal places I can see. That's good. You have used double, right? You have used double here.
Yeah.
Double, okay, perfect. And how you are taking, you are first accepting the things and then you are converting it to double. Okay. Okay, can you go to multiplication once, Kranti?
Sure.
Okay, same funda. Like you are accepting things and okay, perfect, man. I get it. Now this is again good. Just apply the loop, right? And can you go to program.cs once?
Sure.
Okay. Can you come down? Okay. You have used the same program to. Okay, I think I've already seen this, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, you are the Kranti. I mean, I think you are the one who actually used different classes with static methods, right? Cool.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Cool, man. So you have the actual project name. Can you do one thing? Can you double click on this? You got 3 different errors, right? Can you double click on this? One of them.
Here, right?
Okay, it seems there is some problem with ending sequence. Can you go to top? Okay, sure. I got it. Sharda. I think you whatever CS file you have sent, there are some issues, right? Let me correct it out. Okay. Okay then, guys. So let's wind up here and let's meet up tomorrow at the same time. Fine, and we'll see the topics. There will be something. So in multiple numbers acceptance, right? Let's say in subtraction and division. So for subtraction, let's say I wanted 4 numbers. So what you can do is you can subtract 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus 4. In this way you can do. Fine. You don't have to logically take 1 minus 2 and then completely take and then minus, right? You can do any way you want. But I want to subtract 4 numbers, which means 1 minus 2 minus 3 and minus 4. That's what I want to do. Same way division.
Okay.
When I say 3 numbers I want to divide, which means 1 divided by 2 and then the result divided by 3. That's what I want to do. Fine.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is what I actually want.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll show the next assignment like by tomorrow if that's okay. Okay, right there. I got it.
I can't see your folder. Yeah. Now this is where you are created. Now that's the reason why I do one thing. Create your own folder first in your Active directory, right? And then whenever you are saving your solution, whenever you are creating your solution, right? I think you actually left it. Can you go to your Visual Studio once? I think I understood what exactly your problem was. But you can see your SLN file, right? Now you don't have to search for this. Can you go to your Visual Studio once? Can you go to File?
Yeah, I'm right there.
File, New, Project.
Oh, my computer is awfully slow today. I don't know why. I just installed the
That's fine, that's
antivirus
fine.
and it's slow.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah, that's cool, not a problem. Okay, so in this new project, okay, now you can see location, right? So this is
Yeah,
something which is important. So what you can do, create some location in your own folder where you want all your projects to be,
Yep.
right? And then save, right? And in your project folder, you can
Okay.
see your SSMs, right?
Okay.